Hello, everyone, and welcome to Transfer Spotlights, our video series highlighting the people, programs, and everything else that makes UMass great, with a specific focus on need-to-know information for transfer students. Today, we will be discussing the Student Success Department with Adam Ortiz. Adam, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Would you mind giving us an overview just to start of the Student Success Department and the different services under the program's umbrella?
Yeah, absolutely. So student success sits between academic affairs and student affairs organizationally at UMass. And what that really translates into is that we coordinate programs and initiatives for student engagement and provide support in the classroom, both to instructors and to students. Our unit oversees a lot of different services. I think the ones that tend to be, most popular at the moment, we have a toolkit series for students who want to kind of basically up their academic game. So things like study skills, time management skills, etc. Those are all happening virtually right now. When we're on campus, they happen in person. Our unit also oversees 5 college interchange and domestic exchange. So for folks who are wanting to study at other institutions, Student Success is the place to come and talk through what that would look like. Residential academic programs falls within our unit. So anybody who's ever lived in a RAP. For transfer students specifically, we have a transfer seminar as well as a monthly transfer newsletter, which if you are a transfer student, you should be receiving. We also have coordinated a podcast, a biweekly podcast for students to tell their stories about what it's like to be a UMass student. So if that's something that any of you are interested in, please be in touch with me. Our Instagram feed is something we're actually very proud of in that we fill it full of what we hope is helpful information to transfer students, to first-gen students, really to anybody who wants to learn more context about UMass, resources, things like that. And then a student success planner that comes out every year, as well as the Smart About Money financial education program.
Awesome. And we should hopefully put some of that information or links to that in the description of the video below. And so all of that is really fantastic, and I can kind of jump to a conclusion here myself, but why should a transfer student consider using services offered by Student Success? A lot of times that's a big question that I have, because some students don't think that they need to if they're not in trouble already. I think some of the ones you've described have sort of given us that perspective, but why would a student consider that?
Yeah, it's a good question. 2 reasons really come to mind for me. I think one of them is that a lot of our services are focused specifically on transfer experiences. So obviously our transfer newsletter is intended to serve transfer students, and we hope that it does well. Our transfer seminar started a couple of years ago, and it was really the sort of creation of a UMass transfer student who invested a lot of time and energy into making an experience that again, would have served her, I think, had she had that experience when she first got to UMass, and that we hope serves other transfer students. And that's becoming more of a popular thing, and we're really excited about that people are interested. We also have a pretty prominent role in National Transfer Students Week, so we're always looking for ideas about how best to celebrate transfer students during that time. And then again, I want to note our podcast. It's called Trajectory. And again, it focuses on the lives of students and what success means to students, how they found success, and ultimately ways that they've changed since coming to campus. So we can post that information below. And again, if you're interested in telling your perspective as a transfer student, we'd love to hear your voice. And then just quickly, I think that all of our other programs and services really focus on providing campus context. So thinking about things like resources and processes and how to do UMass, as well as again, those opportunities to strengthen your academic skills. So those 2 things kind of combined, I think are helpful for every student.
Fantastic. And if a transfer student wanted to connect with Student Success, how should they do that? And how early in their transfer process should they start working with the program?
Gosh. Get involved, get connected as early as you possibly can. So again, all transfer students should be receiving a monthly transfer specific newsletter. That comes directly from us. So any response to that, I'm going to read. And so, we are, like I said, always looking for feedback or interesting ideas, thoughts, even just to hear your voice. Sometimes people will respond and be like, just wanted to share a little bit about my time at UMass. And that's always really very much appreciated. Follow our social media account, again, on Instagram. Feel free to comment, like, ask questions. We're very present to that. We post just about every day. And then you can also outreach to us on our student success web pages. So the majority of our web pages, if you scroll down to the bottom, will have like a contact us form. And again, those come right to us and we respond to all of the ones that we receive, whether it's a random question, again, or thoughts and ideas. We always love to hear from people.
Awesome. I think the last thing that I keep asking in all the episodes we've done so far is kind of tips and tricks. So is there anything you would want transfer students to know as they transition to UMass? For example, anything that you've noticed that new students aren't aware of, or you'd hope that they would know earlier in their process?
Yeah, in answering this question, I'm thinking back to my own time transitioning to UMass as a staff member. I came from a smaller institution, a much smaller institution, and I remember just being both amazed and a little overwhelmed by how many programs, services, offices, resources, opportunities to get involved, et cetera, there are. And so, I think something that can be really helpful is taking the time to really learn what is available on campus. I feel like the UMass website as a whole, if you really start to dive deep, is pretty well organized in terms of, letting you know what's there. So taking some time to be really intentional about that, about what academic supports are available, what opportunities there are to get involved with other students. And on that note, I think the second thing is just doing what you can to connect with other people, whether it's by taking the transfer seminar, joining the student groups, interviewing for our podcast, anything you can do to get involved, I think typically is a really helpful thing. And you can do all of those things, via student success in many ways. And we'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. Well, I think that was a ton of help. And thank you so much, Adam, for joining us today. And like we said, all those links will be in the description below, and you can reach out to us or Student Success if you have any questions.
Wonderful.
Thanks again, Adam.
Thank you.